Throughout my woodworking career, I've designed hundreds of products and most of them have failed. But through those failures, I've learned the do's and don'ts of product designs, which have allowed me to design several products that have done 7 figures, like this one. This is the first product that actually took off, and it's a docking station, so it holds your phone, watch, wallet, keys, etc. And I've done $2 million in sales on this product alone. I'm gonna be covering this in depth in next week's video, and we release videos every week, so don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over the 7 questions that I ask myself when designing a new product before I take it to market. The first question I ask myself is, can I ship this? Because I believe if I cannot ship something, I cannot scale it. Because if it can't ship, then I'm defined to my local area. I live in the middle of the country. I do not have a big local area, so I have to design products that ship. So if I was designing a really high-end product and the shipping was a very minimal amount of that product, right? You're selling a $6,000 something or a $30,000 job, the shipping is a very small part of it, then shipping's probably okay. But for my particular products, I have to have products that fit in a small box and can ship very quickly, very efficiently to my customers. After I know it's shippable, I like to ask myself a 2-part question of what price point do I need to be at this, and can I make it for that price point? So I know that my products are not the top of the line luxury, but they're also not the bottom of the barrel. I like to play right here in the middle. I think it's really hard to make money if you're gonna be the person that is beating everybody on price, and I don't know enough luxury people to be in that luxury area. So I like to play right in the middle. So if I know that the top person is selling theirs for $200, the bottom person is selling theirs for $50, I need to be in the $100 to $125 price range. And so once I figured out that price point of, let's say, $125, I start figuring out, going through my process of if I can actually make that for that $125 mark. And I say, you know what? I can't make it. For instance, let's think of this screw right here, this tiny little screw. Say I think of this amazing design that's a brand new screw, and it needs to be at a 5-cent price point. If I can't make it for 5 cents, even though it's a great idea and it's shippable, I throw it away. Another example, this boot jack right here, right? You put your foot in there, you take off your boot. This needs to be at about a $20 to $25 price point, sometimes $15. I cannot make it. Even though it's shippable, it looks great, I won't make this because it's not at the price point I need to come to. Now, another example is this is made of walnut. Maybe you can make it out of pine or out of MDF and get to that price point. And so you can kind of finagle those different variables from your woodworking knowledge and try to see if you can design a product that actually will make that price point. So now that I figured out that it's shippable and I know what I can sell it for, this next question gets me pumped up. And it's, how do I beat the big fish, right? How does David beat Goliath? And that's why I encourage y'all to go study competitors so much and study Amazon and study the big woodworking companies and study all those guys so you know how to beat them, right? Like, watch my videos, look at my machine, know how to beat me. I will sit down and say, what machinery can I do? What customization can I add? What pieces of wood can I do that others can't? And a lot of times for me, it's using this CNC right here behind me to add a customization, or my laser engravers or something of that nature. So a lot of times it's customization, because from what I've learned, even Amazon doesn't know how to custom engrave something and ship it to a customer. You know that it's something that the big people cannot do. Just make sure you're customized in a certain way or have a unique shape or a unique thing that you do that the big guys cannot do. And you're only gonna know that by studying the big guys and knowing what they can't do and what they can do really well. So after I figured out what I can customize to keep the big fish away, I actually do the opposite and I figure out what specialized machinery can I use to keep the people that are smaller than me away from recreating this product as well. So whether it's this glue clamp system you see behind me that not a lot of smaller woodworkers are gonna just have laying around, whether it's a unique miter saw you have, or a unique jig you have, or a unique router jig that you have, maybe you designed or that you bought that a lot of people don't buy. It could even be the Festool domino joiner. Like, what product can I design around the specialized machinery that I have that not a lot of people have? And because I've customized it where somebody bigger than me can't duplicate it, and then I use specialized machinery that somebody smaller than me can't really duplicate it, I put myself alone on an island, which makes it very hard to duplicate my products unless you're roughly about the same size as me and doing the same thing. That's the way I like to compete, instead of competing head-to-head with the small guys or head-to-head with the big guys. Before I move on to the next question, I want to give a little pro tip out there of how to beat this glue clamp. It's really hard once you get this size of clamp to actually put different types of wood in here, because you have to train your employees and the way these clamps work and stuff like that. So if you're still using pipe clamps or parallel clamps, put some different kinds of wood in there, because us big guys, we use these big panels like this, and then we'll cut product out of these panels, and it's usually the same color wood. So just throw a little different sliver of wood in there. It'll really help out, and I cannot compete with you if you do that. So the next question I ask myself is it different enough for my competitors to stand out? So whether it's the personalization aspect, the different types of wood, the unique shape, the unique characteristics, maybe unique design or feature that my competitors are not doing, that's what I want to improve upon and make sure that I have. So let's say you're just doing a regular cutting board and you're personalizing on it. Well, make sure your personalization area is unique. Maybe you use a different font that you have to go out and buy, or a different way of doing it. So even if you make very basic, generic cornhole boards like this, which is just your typical cornhole board that sits down. Here's one that I designed for FreoCoolers.com that is currently on our website, promo, shout out, that is different because we have these pop-up cup holders. And that is a feature that makes us different than all the other cornhole boards out there. It's shippable because it folds flat. It's customizable, so it keeps the big guys away. And we use our machinery, our CNCs that we have, to keep the little guys away because these parts are really hard to cut out. So therefore, this product so far is checking all those boxes that I just went over. And so make sure that even if you're doing a very basic generic product, you can be different. Just put your thinking cap on and make it a little different from your competitors, and it's gonna go a long ways. Now let's go to the next question. This next question may not seem like much, but it's very necessary to ask yourself this question. And is it, am I a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond? I like to position myself as a big fish in a small pond rather than a small fish in a big pond. You wanna own whatever market you're in. I talk about this a lot of times. Hone down on your niche. That's what this question is meant to provoke. Am I really where I need to be with this product? Even though it checks off all of the above things, am I really where I need to be with this product? Is it a good fit? Is it a good long-term strategy? So now that I'm a little bit bigger, I can be a medium-sized fish in a medium-sized pond, but I still like to pose that question to myself because it really helps me position myself and my product and think about the future and what that holds for my business. And if you are a smaller fish in the big pond, no big deal, right? Just make sure you're not competing against people that have a giant facility and you're just gonna be a tiny little sliver in that if you're just starting out, because it's really hard. And that's why it's really important to study your industry and know your market like crazy to make sure that if you are one of those small fishes in a giant, huge pond, to get out of it and position yourself to be that big fish in that small pond. And the last and final question that I like to ask myself is, can I scale this product? Can I build multiple of them, or does it have to rely on strictly me? Is it a Ryan product? Because if I cannot build thousands of products like this, then there's no point in me even bringing it to market, because if it is a big product and it does hit, all of that work was for nothing because I can't duplicate it. I can't duplicate Ryan. I can't clone myself. I actually don't think I would want to anyways, because I'd be super annoyed with myself. So that is the last question I like to ask myself, because I do want to build a business around designing products and making products. And if I cannot scale them, then I cannot build a business around them. Therefore, I do not want to make that product. Now, with all of that being said, and if you're designed a product and you checked all of those boxes, it could still flop. A good example is this baby block right here. I designed this. I thought it was gonna be the next biggest thing since sliced bread. It's small, it's shippable, it's customizable. It absolutely flopped, and this was a pretty recent product. A lot of y'all may be mad that I actually did not design something in this video. Well, the reason being is that a lot of that has to come from your intuition, your gut feeling, what market you're in. I've only had inspiration for one product this year, and it just comes to you in a flash, right? And you design it out. Last year I had about 7 product flashes. The year before that I had about 20 different products that flashed into my head that I knew were gonna be great sellers. And that's intuition. That's gonna be very hard to teach, but if you do have that intuition and that product just flashes and you say, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the best thing ever, go through this list that I just gave you, because it does help and it will help you get that right product fit. You may have to tweak it a little bit, right? But it can blow up. And then it also can flop. It happens, it's life. That is part of the design process, and I think your gut and intuition will slowly change where you can understand how to design a better product, right? Because I've designed hundreds, I have had those couple that have popped off and done really well, and I did formulate all these questions that I need to ask myself now in order to keep making products that sell really well. So I hope these questions did kind of stimulate you to think bigger, think about how you can design products. So with all that being said, I hope you left this video with more knowledge than when you started. Do not forget to tune in next week as we launch a new video next week, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate you. And remember, if you ain't cutting it close, you ain't cutting it right. I'm in debt. Yes, I am. One day I will write myself a check. One
Nice.
day I will write myself a check.